I was strolling to school one day when, out of nowhere, I felt a force shove me to the ground. Ouch! I yelped as I tumbled onto my side. Before I could regain my footing, I sensed the sensation of handcuffs clicking around my wrists. At first, I thought it might be my school crush playfully engaging with me. After all, I had been dropping hints for the past few weeks. However, the sound of an approaching car and urgent voices shouting, "Open the door, hurry," changed everything. My excitement shifted to panic as I realized that someone was attacking me. I began screaming for help, but there was no one nearby. I struggled against my captor's grip, but their strength was overpowering. They forcibly hauled me into a minivan, slamming the door shut behind me. The confined space triggered my claustrophobia, causing me to pass out. When I came to, I was in a dimly lit, dusty room, lying on a bed. Confusion clouded my thoughts momentarily, but then the memories of what had happened flooded back. Who on earth had brought me here? I rushed to the door and started banging on it, shouting desperately for help. "Get me out of here. Hello? Somebody. Get me out of here." A voice responded, "Hey you, we're coming." I ceased my frantic yelling, my ear pressed against the door to catch any sounds. Then, I overheard a conversation on the other side. "She's not the one, you idiot. I told you she's blonde. This one has brown hair." My heart raced as I realized they were talking about me. Their footsteps drew nearer, so I took a few steps back. The door creaked open, and a young man walked in. He was undeniably attractive, strikingly handsome. Think Henry Centennial level of attractiveness. He glanced at me and began, "Look, I'm sorry. This was just a game. We were supposed to fake kidnap another girl, you know, for fun. But my friend accidentally picked you," he explained. I couldn't believe my ears. "What?" I exclaimed. "Are you kidding me? You almost gave me a heart attack, and you say it was a game? I'll call the police." The guy began to panic, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. I stood there, shaken and unsure of what to do. He stammered, "I'm sorry, I promise it was just a game. We didn't mean to hurt you. We planned it to trick a friend. Please, we're just two stupid high school kids." Seeing the fear in his eyes and the remorse in his voice, I started to feel a twinge of sympathy. In a sarcastic tone, I retorted, "You losers, I thought you were a tough gang that kidnapped me to blackmail my father. Move, I have to go out." I grabbed my bag and made my way to the door, leaving the guy with a baffled expression on his face. I called a cab and returned to school as if nothing had happened, trying to put the bizarre incident behind me. They had certainly ruined my morning, but it appeared to be just a strange, albeit terrifying, one-time occurrence. Little did I know that I would encounter the guy again a week later. To my surprise, I found him working as a cashier at a recently opened fast food restaurant in the area. When he saw me, he greeted me with a playful comment, "Here comes the strongest girl I know." I couldn't help but smile and replied, "And here comes the weakest boy I know." We both laughed, and as he handed me my change, I noticed a note with his number on it. The note read, "I would love to take you out. Here is my number if you are interested. Adrian, smiley face." At first, I hesitated about calling him, but as I thought more about how cute he was and the possibility of experiencing my first real relationship, I decided to take a chance. That night, I sent him a message. "Meet me at the dojo at 5 o'clock, Maya." His immediate reply brought a smile to my face. "Sure, Wonder Woman, Adrian, winky face." So we met, and Adrian turned out to be incredibly charming. It felt like he had a guidebook on being the perfect boyfriend, and was following it to the letter. On our first date, he showed up with a red flower, handed it to me, and said, "You two are alike. Gentle, attractive, and stunningly beautiful." It completely melted my heart, and it didn't take long for us to officially become a couple. I fell head over heels in love with him. Soon, I decided to invite Adrian over to my place. When he arrived, he was visibly taken aback by the grandeur of my home. It turned out he had no idea my family was so well off. My house was more akin to a mansion, and I had everything a girl my age could ever dream of. Adrian appeared to feel quite insecure about it all. I could see the shock in his eyes as he glanced around, as if he had never imagined being in such a place. "Is something wrong?" I asked, concerned. He mumbled, No, it's just that you're really rich." I quickly reassured him, saying, "It's just my father's wealth, not mine." Unfortunately, my words didn't seem to ease his unease. After a few visits to my house, Adrian's annoyance about my affluent lifestyle seemed to grow. He began making comments that betrayed his underlying resentment. Every time he bought me a simple treat, he'd remark, "You've probably had better." If he gave me a gift, he'd say, "Sorry, it was the only thing I could afford." His constant remarks started to irritate me, and one day, I couldn't hold back any longer. I confronted him about it, saying, "You know, those comments make you seem really insecure. I like you just the way you are." But Adrian didn't seem to believe me. He retorted sarcastically, "So basically, I'm just your puppet, huh?" His words stung, and it felt like he wasn't truly listening to me. I asked, genuinely puzzled, "What do you mean?" He replied with bitterness, "I'm just another thing for you to brag about. Look at me. I've got someone who's totally in love with me." His comment infuriated me, and in a fit of anger, I shouted, "Well, if that's how you feel, then maybe we shouldn't be dating at all." Without a word, Adrian simply said, "Fine," and walked away. I couldn't believe my eyes. He just turned and walked away from me. I thought we had an amazing relationship, but apparently I was wrong. Adrian vanished from my life, and he didn't even attempt to reach out to me. It left me heartbroken, but I decided to move on. However, 2 weeks later, I stumbled upon him having dinner with Ruby. Ruby was a friend from my middle school days, known as the Kim Kardashian of our group, due to her immense wealth and extravagance. We drifted apart because she had become rather self-centered, often accusing me of being jealous of her. For instance, if we happened to buy the same dress, she would tell everyone that she had bought it first, and that I was merely copying her. None of it was true, though. I was content with what I had, and simply wanted to avoid unnecessary drama in my life. This unexpected encounter left me puzzled. How had Adrian ended up dating someone like Ruby, especially when he seemed insecure about dating wealthy girls? It bothered me quite a bit, so I decided to reach out to Ruby and ask her about it. I sent her a direct message on Instagram saying, "Hey, I saw you with Adrian the other day. How did you two get together?" Her response was unexpected and rather cringeworthy as she immediately replied, "Why are you jealous? He's the cutest, right?" Despite her initial response, I continued to ask, "No, not at all. I think you make a cute couple. He was just my friend, and I wanted to know how you met." To my surprise, Ruby then shared a rather amusing story. "It's kind of a funny story. Adrian accidentally kidnapped me while he was playing a game with his friends, and they hid me right after. What a moron. Was that his idea of picking up girls? Ah, thank goodness we're no longer together. I realized I was foolish to feel sad after breaking up with him. Let her date him all she wants." The next day, my dad called me into his office with a worried and upset expression. He anxiously asked, "Honey, have you seen my Rolex watch?" "I thought I left it here." I replied, "No, Dad, why?" He continued, "It's been missing for a while, and I can't find it." Then he added, "Never mind, I must have lost it somewhere." I returned to my room feeling a deep sadness. That Rolex watch was my dad's favorite, a gift from my mom before she passed away. He never took it off. Where could it have gone? As I began searching for it, a strange thought crossed my mind. Whenever Adrian visited, he frequently excused himself to the bathroom 3 or 4 times. When I questioned him about it, he claimed to have a medical condition. I didn't want to embarrass him, so I let it slide. But now, I couldn't help but wonder if he was involved. No, he was playful but not a thief. I tried to dismiss the idea, but it continued to nag at me. Determined to find the truth, I reached out to Ruby once more, inquiring if she had noticed anything peculiar about Adrian. Ruby, however, responded irritably, insisting that everything was fine and requesting that I stop bothering her. Despite feeling embarrassed, I mustered the courage to press on. I said, "Hey Ruby, I promise this is my last question. Have you recently lost something valuable?" I thought she might hang up, but she remained silent for a while before admitting, "You know, come to think of it, I did lose one of my diamond rings recently, but maybe I misplaced it." The pieces fell into place in my mind. That sly, manipulative man. I couldn't contain myself. I shared everything with Ruby, how Adrian had used a similar ruse on me, and my suspicion that he had stolen my father's watch. Ruby was livid at being manipulated by Adrian. I thought she might be more upset because I had dated him first, but in any case, we both decided it was time for revenge. One evening, Ruby arranged for Adrian to join her for dinner at an upscale restaurant. As they dined, she excused herself, leaving behind her valuable gold bracelet inside her purse. Positioned at a nearby table, I had my camera at the ready, anticipating Adrian's response. To our disappointment, he didn't take the bait. Despite the bracelet's substantial value, Adrian resisted the temptation to steal it. The date concluded without any incident. Ruby and Adrian returned to her house, where I discreetly followed them. Parked in my car outside, I waited for Adrian to exit so I could discuss our next course of action. Growing bored while waiting, I began scrolling through my Instagram feed, and then a notification popped up from Ruby's account. She was broadcasting live. I wondered what was happening, so I clicked on the video and was astonished by what I saw. Ruby was recording Adrian with her upstairs and him downstairs. I watched in disbelief as he pilfered a wooden antique, clandestinely slipping it into his jacket. Commentary began flooding in, with people denouncing Adrian's actions. Strangely, many girls recognized him and revealed that they had also experienced losses when involved with him. It became apparent that he was an accomplished thief. Without delay, I contacted the police while the live video continued, and they arrived promptly, apprehending Adrian. Not only did Adrian return all the stolen items to their rightful owners, but he also served a 3-year jail sentence, alongside his friends who had aided him in the fake kidnapping scheme. After the ordeal had concluded, I decided to visit Ruby to express my gratitude for her crucial role in resolving the situation. My father was overjoyed to have his cherished watch back. I had hoped that Ruby and I could rekindle our friendship, but when I reached out to her, she responded with a disdainful tone. She said, "You don't have to thank me. You're still a loser. Just don't get in trouble again, you stupid girl." It became clear that some people never change.